Welcome back! Congrats on making your way through the first round of Archaeology 101. Today we're going to go further into our topic from last time and talk about the history of archaeology. This is probably going to be the shortest history lesson ever, and I'm only going to get to about the 20th century as so much has changed in archaeological practice over the last century in terms of scientific development, ethics, and best practices. This is more of the exciting stuff and how we as a species came to investigate our past. When most people think about archaeology and its history, all of the really big finds come to mind. The adventures of the old white rich men just bounding into countries and taking whatever they can find. We've got the lost city of the Maya, the Inca, the discovery of King Tut's tomb, that guy who found the cave paintings in France, Heinrich Schliemann blasting his way through Troy. But there's so much more to delve into, because when the earliest form of modern archaeology, as we know it today, came into existence, the world had a very different view on history. Archaeology as we know it developed in the Western world, where at the time most of the population was a devout Christian. Most of what people knew came from fragments of the written word of past historians and civilizations. That's right, attention was only really paid to the historical record because a prehistorical one wasn't even fathomable to them. The historical timeline appeared very differently to them, as the world was only expected to have been created in 4000 BC. It wasn't as important to them to ask some of these questions that we do now. But don't blame them, guys. Our view of history and the way we look at things is always changing. It took a long time for humanity to get where it is today, and we're still evolving and improving. It's a process, y'all. Okay, I just said y'all on camera. That's a low. As I stated in the video before, archaeology is one of the most human things in the world. As creatures, humans are always thinking about where we came from. Historians from the beginning of time have been fascinated with what people did before them. You know that feeling from when you're a kid and you're exploring your grandparents' basement and examining all these unfamiliar things? I used to spend hours in my grandparents' crawl space looking through their old memories and carefully examining all the things I could take home. Archaeology began very simply because of this. People would be going about their daily lives and coming across mounds or old monuments that were still standing in ruins. When they would break ground to build something new, other things would also be found and would add to the mystery. Most of it was treasure hunting at first, finding the shiniest thing to keep and sell, looting graves and pyramids, etc. But even as early as the Babylonians, we can see archaeology emerging. King Nabonidus, who lived in the 6th century BCE, before Common Era, King Nabonidus was known for his interest in the past. He had been recorded to having excavated and restored monuments in both what is now modern Turkey and Iraq. He even collected some of the things he found and displayed them. You can kind of think of him as the father of archaeology. We even have a mother of archaeology. That's right, take that all you other sexist professions. Saint Helena, or otherwise known as Flavia Julia Helena Augustus, probably Flavia Julia Helena Augustus. You know, the mom of that Roman emperor who Christianized the entire empire? Yeah, her. Come on guys, never forget the moms. On that note, Mom, I'm on the internet machine. Let's see if she actually finds this thing. Anyway, St. Helena was obviously a Christian and oversaw a lot of fieldwork in Jerusalem in the quest to uncover more about the life of Jesus. Yeah, so we've got a patron saint, y'all. And there it is again. Now obviously there are what we call fathers or founders of all types of archaeology. The people I mentioned above are just some of the oldest recorded to perform activities that saw the birth of this notion that the earth had something to say about our past. From there you get the antiquarians who pillaged and threw scientific process to the wind. Damn, they were lucky. And others like Heinrich Schliemann, the father of Bronze Age archaeology. The famous guy I mentioned earlier who found Troy and then dug right through it. Then we have Sir Flinders Petrie, the father of modern archaeology. These and a few others were the OGs, as I like to call them, and we'll be learning about them and their crazy antics in due time, don't you worry. Let's get back to our timeline. As we move from ancient times to the Renaissance, you can see an influx of interest in the classical civilizations of Greece and Rome. And this study helped them look deeper into their home turf, too. Soon, all the mysterious mounds and old ruins became popular to study and examine. Eventually, people started doing systematic studies of these places. They started, obviously, with the extremely visible ones like Stonehenge and other old stone monuments. Stone is the best, and I'm not even saying that just because I'm a stone conservator. Yes, I am. Obviously, of course, as can be seen from history, this started with the elite classes first. This whole study can be seen as a sort of evolutionary development in humanity. When civilizations became more self-sufficient and more people could devote themselves to other endeavors besides farming, we were able to then start to investigate and attempt to understand our past selves. By the 18th century, people were getting really excited about what they could find. This is when the real adventure starts. You have no idea what I would give to be a rich British man in the 18th and 19th centuries. I could have done whatever I wanted! It was wrong and extremely disrespectful to other countries, I know, but boy did they have some great adventures. Just slashing through the jungle, wearing amazing khaki outfits and looking for lost cities. Oh, the dream. Timeline again. Pompeii was discovered and began to have proper excavation conducted. Thomas Jefferson was involved as well. He dug a trench in a section of a burial mound on his property and officially thus producing the first scientific excavation. It wasn't until the middle of the 19th century though when archaeology became a full-on discipline. We were learning more about science and geology. Everything was coming up roses for us. Darwin came up with his theory of evolution, which changed our way of thinking forever, and C.J. Thompson published his concept of the three-age system. Egyptian archaeology exploded with all of its amazing riches, and ordinary everyday people started getting really excited about what we could pull from the ground. We started to understand that human history stretched much further back than the biblical timeline led on. And because of that, we have a Frenchman named Jacques Boucher de Perthes to thank for that. These ideas opened so many doors for archaeologists and gave way to us discovering so much about our human past in this tiny window of time in which we've been studying it. All of these new ideas and developments were slowly consolidated and refined to give us all of the knowledge of fieldwork and regional chronologies that we have today. After World War II, we see a huge change of pace in scientific techniques and ecological approaches and new schools of thought for not just what happened when, but why and how an event occurred. We're now trying to add meaning to these events and human activities. Obviously, I could go on for hours about the evolution of human ideas and exploration and the development of archaeology, but let's give our brains a break for now. I have a question? Ask it in the comments below or shoot me an email. Like always, for a short write-up or some extra resources, click on the link in the description. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for weekly rants on my nerdy obsessions, and stay dirty, my friends.